All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to break down the ultimate roadmap for becoming a professional Flutter developer in 2025. So, you want to be a Flutter pro? You want to build incredible, native-feeling apps for pretty much any screen from just one codebase? Well, this explainer is going to turn that ambition into a clear, step-by-step quest. So let's get right into it. And look, this isn't just some random list we threw together. We're using a definitive guide that's been totally updated for 2025, and it's designed to lay out the entire journey, starting from your absolute first step. I really want you to think of this not as some boring checklist, but more like your personal adventure map. Every single stage is going to equip you with new skills to basically conquer the world of app development. Every great quest starts with a little bit of prep work, right? You don't just run out the door. So before we can start building these amazing apps, we got to cover the foundational gear you're absolutely going to need. And what's really key here is that this all happens before you even write a single line of Flutter code. First, you need a solid grasp on programming fundamentals. You know, your variables, loops, functions, the basics. Then you'll set up your workshop with tools like VS Code and Git. And finally, you'll run that classic Hello World app just to make sure everything's hooked up and working correctly. Okay, next up, you're going to get your hands dirty with Dart. This is the language that actually powers Flutter. And for 2025, the focus is on these really powerful modern features. You're going to learn stuff like null safety, which is a lifesaver for preventing bugs, trust me, and async/await, which keeps your app's UI super smooth. You'll even get into streams for handling real-time data. These aren't just trivia. These are the tools pros use every single day. Now we get to the absolute heart of Flutter. If you remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. In Flutter, everything is a widget. A button? It's a widget. The text on the screen? A widget. The padding around the text? Yep, also a widget. They are the Lego bricks you'll use to build everything the user sees and interacts with. So, how do we actually use all these widgets? Well, the next step is learning how to put them together to make real UIs. You'll learn the difference between widgets that can change and widgets that can't, how to arrange them on the screen, how to create scrollable lists, and, this is a big one, how to move between different screens using the recommended Go Router package. All right, you've got the building blocks down. Now the real fun begins. This is where we go beyond just static screens, and we start making our apps smart, interactive, and actually connected to the real world. Let's talk about the brain of your app, state management. This is what handles all the data that changes over time. You'll probably start with Provider, which is fantastic for smaller projects because it's so simple. But as your apps grow, you're going to want to graduate to Riverpod. It's the modern standard for a reason. It's way more robust and easier to test. And then for those massive enterprise-level apps, that's where BLoC comes in. An app that can't connect to the internet is, well, it's not very useful, is it? So this part of the journey is all about talking to the web. You'll master fetching data from APIs, understanding the JSON format it usually comes in, and using a powerful tool like Dio to handle it all. And skills like infinite scroll and offline first patterns, that's what makes an app feel truly professional. You also want your app to remember things, right? Even when there's no internet? That's where local storage comes into play. And as you can see, for most apps in 2025, Hive is the top dog. Why? Because it's just blazing fast and way less complicated than traditional databases. It's perfect for creating that smooth, offline experience everyone loves. Okay, this is a huge step. This is where you level up. You go from being someone who just makes apps that work to someone who builds them beautifully, efficiently, and in a way that can scale to millions of users. You're becoming an app architect. This is all about having a good structure. Think of these patterns like blueprints for building a skyscraper versus a shed. MVVM, for example, helps keep your UI code separate from your logic, which makes it way cleaner. The repository pattern gives you one single place to get your data, no matter where it comes from. And for the really big apps, you'll want to use something like clean architecture to keep everything organized and easy to maintain for years to come. But look, a perfectly architected app that's ugly and clunky to use is still a bad app, right? So that brings us to UI and UX mastery. This is where you add the magic. You'll learn to create fluid animations, advanced visual effects like Flutter's powerful slivers for cool scrolling, and build layouts that look absolutely perfect on any screen size. All right, you've climbed the mountain, you've gathered the skills, you've mastered the craft. Now it's time for the final stage of the quest, proving your expertise and actually choosing your professional path. This is where all that hard work pays off. So how do you actually prove you're a pro? It's simple, your portfolio. The roadmap is crystal clear on this one. You should aim to have 4 to 6 complete, polished applications that you can show off to potential employers or clients. And yeah, we're not talking about your basic to-do list app here. These should be real functional projects. Maybe build an expense tracker to show you no local storage, or a social media clone to prove you've mastered APIs. Or hey, what about an AI-powered app to show you're on the cutting edge? Each project should tell a story about a specific skill you've mastered. Because what good is an amazing app if it just sits on your computer? A real pro knows how to get it into the hands of users. This means mastering the whole deployment pipeline. You'll learn about CI/CD, which is basically automating all the boring stuff so you can build and release your app easily. This covers everything from signing your app to watching for crashes once it's live. So once you're at the top of the mountain, you've got a choice to make. 2 main paths open up. Path 1, get a job. Here you'll focus on the classic interview prep, algorithms, data structures, that kind of thing. Path 2, become an indie developer. If you go this route, the focus totally shifts to building products fast, listening to users, and mastering things like marketing and analytics. So there you have it. That is the complete quest from total beginner to a job-ready Flutter professional, all mapped out for 2025. The path is laid out right in front of you. The only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build first?